Good morning, everybody. It is August 24th. Current temp is 60 degrees, only going to get to 64 today. We've got nighttime temperatures anywhere from 44 to 54 over the next week. And that is not the kind of weather I need to get tomatoes and peppers to ripen. Let me show you what I got going on and what I'm worried about. These are my German Johnson tomatoes. Last year this time, these were covered with fruits. This year, I've got a few fruits here and there, but these are looking like they're start of June size. These are barely 3 feet tall. I do have some fruits coming in on a couple of them. The fruits look nice overall. But are these going to ripen in 70 degrees? Probably not. Some of these plants further down, these are barely 2 feet tall, probably 1.5 feet at most. A few buds here and there, nothing like I've had in last year's, and honestly, it's too wet and it's too cold. I don't think these are going to do anything either. These are all Hungarian Italian paste tomatoes. I've got a fair number of fruits on these. These are tiny. They haven't even started to ripen. And the ones that have, that's it. That's not what I'm hoping for paste tomatoes to make sauce and salsas and stuff. Looking at the peppers, growth is great overall, but there's no fruits. These things are covered with flowers and nothing is even starting. It's too cold, and there's nothing I can do about this. These are all Serrano peppers in here. There's a few fruits here and there. Last year these plants were just loaded. And honestly, are they going to mature? Probably not. They'll get a little bigger hopefully if we get a little bit of warmer weather, but extended forecast right now, there is no warmer weather. We're looking at mid 70s for our highs. These are Wisconsin Lakes peppers. Should be a nice big bell pepper. I don't think those are going to do much either. This plant is loaded, which is fantastic. There's probably 8 or 9 on that, but if I look over at some of these, a lot of leaves, not much else. Rutabagas, they're looking sad. Plants don't look that terrible, but compared to what I had last year, last year this was a forest, 3 feet tall, leaves everywhere, and I was pulling hand-sized fruits out. And this year it's not happening. Tomatoes next to it, more fruits, decent numbers on some of the plants, but again, are they going to ripen? Probably not. You can tell those that have haven't done great. We've had too much rain. I think the squash is about done. Zucchini is about done. These plants don't look terrible. They haven't had the summer heat though. This time last year I was pulling out plants and putting in a fall crop. I had planned to do that this year, but I don't think I would get any fruit. The weather is too cool, and some of these plants have produced 3 or 4, and that's about it. I do finally have an eggplant. It looks beautiful. Probably going to pick it this week. Temperatures are going to be too cold at night for these to be happy, so probably about time to take them out of the ground and enjoy them. The greenhouse does look a little better. Plants are definitely happy in here. They don't have the breeze. I can control the water a little bit, which actually has been great, but no fruit. And look down on some of these. Got some flowers, and that's about it. I've planted about 120 peppers in here, and I've probably seen maybe 2 dozen fruits. Got some tiny little fruits down here. Will they mature to be a whole lot of anything? I don't know. I'd love it if they did. It would be great to have some peppers, but we're sitting here in weather that's too cool and not going to improve. So what are you gonna do? I do have some Roma tomatoes coming in. Quantity wise, yeah, not so much. The fruits look decent. Will these grow anymore and produce nice big candy tomatoes? I'm gonna guess not. These are my Principi Borghese. I'm probably saying that wrong. They look very nice. They're delicious. They should be bigger than that. I did like how the trellis worked with the fence. That was a really good idea. I like how that's working out. But again, these little guys, are they going to grow and do a whole lot? Probably not. Some Keystone Giants coming in. They're not giant, but they're peppers. I'll take that. Pretty nice looking fruits. I'm surprised. This area behind the rabbitry is not ideal. It gets more shade than I realized, so this would be great for Brussels sprouts and kale and stuff like that, but probably not as good for these. These are supposed to be red Corno di Toro. I've got some fruits here and there. Again, will they have heat and all that they need to actually ripen? I'm gonna guess not. I can still pick them, we'll still use them, but not quite what I was hoping for. There certainly comes a time every year, usually later in the fall, where you feel like the garden is shutting down. That's that time of the year where I stop weeding, let the garden kind of do its thing, and harvest as much as I can. Past years, that has been mid to late September. This year, it's August. My approach in the past, and one that I use this year, is to plant as much as I can, fill the garden with whatever I think we're going to eat, succession plant as much as I can, and use it. Your goal, obviously, in my case, is to supplement. I don't have enough to replace buying commercially produced food, but I can certainly make a dent in it and grow things that I wouldn't normally get, like Volunteer tomatillos, which are doing just fine. I don't think anything would make these Volunteer tomatillos not produce. They've got some growing left to do, but they're doing good. In addition to growing larger quantities of things, I grow a lot for the rabbits. The weeds that come out of the garden, 90% of that goes to the rabbits, and they love them. So there's a benefit to that. I've experimented a lot with flowers the last couple of years. I'm growing a lot more flowers than I ever have. Visually, the garden looks really nice. It's an enjoyable place to walk and wander, even if the weather is frustrating and I'm not getting what I want out vegetable-wise. I hesitate to show this row because it's an absolute disaster, but I do think it's important to realize that even if you miss some weeding, or in my case grass pulling, stuff still grows. These leeks will be just fine. They're not huge. We had a storm a couple weeks ago that definitely did a beating on them, but they've got time. I will not pull these until probably October, so they've got another 5-6 weeks. Hopefully they'll grow, get a little frost on them, and they'll be great. Most of the cabbages look great, starting to head up nicely. I will pull these probably in the next couple of weeks. I'd love for them to get a little frost. I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see. I'm starting to get some bug damage on some of them, so I need to pick my battles. So what do you do in a situation like this? I think it's easy to get down. I think it's easy to look at what didn't produce and call it a failure, and I try to avoid that. I think it's important to realize that we are at the mercy of Mother Nature. Last year's problems, weather, rain, whatever it might be, are not going to be this year's problems, and next year will be totally different. One of the things I do every year is to plant more than I think I'm going to need of everything. Not only just in terms of backup plants, but in terms of more quantities. We eat a lot of peppers. I'm going to grow a lot of peppers, or try to grow a lot of peppers. If that doesn't work, or in this case I have an entire 3 rows that are doing nothing, I planted them too early. So these peppers that I planted later are my only hope for this year to get some fruit. I'm glad I have them. they don't take up that much space, and they're a security measure against crop losses and other things that you can't control. I also make a habit of planting different types of tomatoes and peppers, different varieties if I can. I have this year 18 varieties of peppers and I think 16 varieties of tomatoes. Had I not done that and I was relying on one variety, there's a chance I would get nothing. It's fun to experiment. It's also a good security measure against, again, that uncertainty in terms of weather and what's going to produce and what isn't. The last thing I tend to do is to plant things that seem to do well no matter what. Flowers have always been that for me. I will pick some things that I think look nice and put them in pots and throw them around empty spaces I have in the garden. And when other plants are not cooperating, they always seem to pull through. As always, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.